Hello, how are you today? I hope you are doing fine. In this video, you will find certain examples that you may have experienced in your daily life. Are you wondering what is it? Before we dive into our topic today, let's take a look at this example first. Have you experienced that scenario before? I'm pretty sure you did. We all loved playing that in a playground, didn't we? But have we ever considered questions such as, what made us slide so easily? Or is there any kind of force that is letting us slide easily? To answer your questions, yes, it is related to a kind of force. What type of force is that? It's called frictional force. So, in this video, you will be introduced about what frictional force is all about. Here are the learning outcomes. By the end of this video, you should be able to state what frictional force is through the worksheet given, explain an example of frictional force in daily life also through a worksheet, and describe the effect of friction on the motion of objects. But first, let's recap on what is force. Force is a push or pull act that is exerted to move things. Here is an example on how force is used in our daily life. When we are pushing or pulling the chair, we are applying force to it. You must be wondering, that was force. Then, what about friction? You want to know what friction is? Then let's do this together. For this, you will need to place your hands together and rub them against each other. First, rub them slowly, now faster a little, not as fast as possible, and then touch elsewhere and feel the heat. Friction occurs when two surfaces come in contact with each other in such a way that they rub against one another. Let's take a look at an example to understand better. When you are shuffling cards, there is frictional force applied. Let's take a closer look at this slow motion video. If you observe closely, the cards are rubbing each other as they are shuffled, and this is an act of frictional force because the two surfaces are in contact. Another example would be pushing a trolley on a smooth surface. Notice that this trolley right now is being pushed easily. Now, I want you to imagine that you are pushing a trolley on a rough surface. In this case, it can be a carpet. So, on which surface was easier to push the trolley? The rough surface or the smooth surface? Yes, you're right. The answer is smooth surface was easier to push the trolley. But why is that so? Because these factors are mainly affected by the surface texture and amount of force impelling them together. Smooth surface, as we saw earlier, has lesser friction, causing the car to move faster compared on a rough surface. But the main question is, does surface really matter? Come, let's carry out a small activity together to find out. For this activity, you can carry this out in your house. All you need is a toy car, your house floor to represent as the smooth surface, the carpet to represent as the rough surface, and a stopwatch. For this activity, you will need to place your toy car at two fixed points. You can label it as point A and point B. Then, you need to time the distance traveled on the surfaces using your stopwatch, and after that, compare the time taken that the car traveled on the two surfaces. The time taken for the toy car to move on the smooth surface was 6 seconds. As for the rough surface, the time taken for the toy car to travel to point B was 9 seconds. Now, I want you to compare the time taken that the car used to travel on both the surfaces. On the smooth surface, the car took 6 seconds. And on the rough surface, the car took 9 seconds. Have you compared? Any ideas yet? Also, what can you conclude from this experiment? You can pause this video and write your conclusion on a piece of paper. What we can conclude from the previous experiment was less friction is present on smooth surface, whereas more friction is present on rough surface. But why is that so? Does it have to do anything with force? I want you to pause this video and think about the answer to this question. Do you need more force to push or pull an object on a rough surface? What do you think? Is the answer yes or no? Well, the answer is yes. But why? The reason is because rougher surface has greater friction, thus more force is used to enable work to be done. I hope you have understood about the concept of frictional force so far. Now, to test your understanding, let's answer a few questions. The following questions are based on 3 different scenarios. You are required to choose either it's less friction present or more friction present. You may want to pause this video and write your answers down on a piece of paper. I hope you have answered all the 3 questions. Now, let's discuss the answer together. For question number 1, the answer is less frictional force. This is because when the base of the object is smooth and the surface in which the object is moving is smooth, less friction is generated. The answer for question number 2 is less frictional force as well. This is because the surface of the ball and the surface of the floor are both smooth. Hence, there is no much force needs to be exerted out, resulting in less friction. And finally, the answer for question number 3 is more frictional force. This is because sandpaper is a rough surface, which causes the marble to move slower, as now far more force needs to be exerted out, which results in more frictional force. Now, I want you to think of another real-life example where frictional force can be used. You may email me your response through the email address given. And before you leave, click on the Google form link below and take a short quiz on frictional force. Good luck! If you have any questions, do comment in the comment section below, or you may even email me if you want to. Thank you for watching! And see you soon with a different concept in science. Till then, take care. Bye.